stream and then like also having other tabs open and other things that I've been like running at the same time with like everything going simultaneously, my computer's just like confused. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so my computer like killed itself because I was trying to both like be in a VC and run a stream at the same time. But I got peeps. So squishy. Mm. Yeah, stream lag, like stream delay will do that. These peeps are delicious. Mm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I've been making them since I've been making videos since I was 17 years old, and here I am now at 22. So it's been a while. Today, yeah, uh, it's also my dog's birthday today. She's turning 10. Yeah, I have a picture of her somewhere. Yeah, I love my dog. She's turning 10. Hard to believe she's a whole decade old. She still looks and acts the same as she did when she was 3. There's my baby. My baby. Happy birthday, Pippin. Yeah, she's have some, yeah. Dogs are the best. She's just a sweet little baby. I think, yeah, I also have some litter pictures of her. She was just a hairy little potato. Yeah, I would make jokes about having a sausage dog. Her name was Raven. She was a very sweet dog. Yeah, she lived to be about like 15. Yeah, she lived a good life. She was a good dog. I've lived my life surrounded by dogs. They're like my family. I've had dogs like in my family my entire life. M&M's. She's very affectionate. Oh, baby. I have some videos with Pippin and with Moose, actually, on my channel. But they're on the newer end, so it would take a while for me to get to them if I'm going to be going from oldest to newest. But then again, I never really said that I had to go in order. That's true. Man, Easter's so close. Hmm. I I I actually played trumpet at my church for Easter Sunday once. Uh, I played like, yeah, I'm a brass player. I have my trumpet in my closet actually. I haven't played it in a hot minute. It's on the shelf of my closet. Oh, hi, Kales. Hi, Kale. Streaming has kind of been a bumpy road so far. You know, words. Oh yeah. Uh, the kind of mic that I have is concise. Yes. I'm saying words into my microphone. I often Fuck, my microphone is killing itself again. I often don't really know what to say. When I don't really know what to say and I have too much dead air, I say random shit because I don't really know what else to say. Okay. A game that I really like is Amanda the Adventurer. I I really love the Amanda the Adventurer games. I love the lore. I love the visuals. I really love that game. I really like all of the hidden Easter eggs and all of the effort that goes into it. It's really well put together. Um, Seeing it end, kind of sad, but also makes sense. Um, yeah, there's quite a bit of lore to it actually. Um, yeah, like if you watch those secret tapes, like the colored ones, um, there are definitely like some run through uh, some like some screenplay. My Discord did kill itself. Yes, unfortunately. Oops. Um, favorite fandom of a show. Okay. Um, as much as I would love to say like anything Glitch Productions, unfortunately, it is very difficult for me to like say that those fandoms are great because they have been plagued with illiterate children. I hate saying that. I really don't like saying that, but it's kind of true. And I've been in spaces for these franchises long enough to know that. The only one that I haven't really seen that with, only two, I guess, would be Metarunner and Sunset Paradise, but that's because those fandoms are like really dead. So, uh, yeah. I have been in the Digital Circus fandom since uh, since 2023, since the pilot was just a couple weeks old. Um, why is my microphone so stupid? Okay, my microphone is a little bit weird. Um, why does it get silent so suddenly? Okay, I think that's a little bit better. Yeah. So I have been in the Digital Circus fandom since the pilot was just a couple weeks old. And I got into Murder Drones a few months afterwards. So by that point, it was like early 2024. Actually, wait. I got into it in between episodes. What are the names of the episodes? Dead End and Mass Destruction. So yeah, towards the end of it. Yeah. Yeah, people have been not great towards the creators, especially Gooseworks. her franchise has gotten a lot of attention, especially from people who are not the intended audience, and it really has like negatively impacted the fan base as a whole. It's really unfortunate. Goose definitely deserves better. But yes, I moderate the Digital Circus and Murder Drones wikis, and they are, and Knights of Guinevere as well. I do mod that one. I will tell you this much: Digital Circus and Murder Drones fans are not very mature. They are something else. They are not very literate. They are not very mature. And it kind of makes it difficult to like to share my thoughts without feeling like somebody's going to like misinterpret them, or like there's going to be too much to spark out of it, if that makes sense. And I feel even worse for Gooseworks because that has to be like times a million for her as the creator. Yeah. I feel so bad for her. I know she did not, I know that she did not like create this franchise knowing how much attention it was going to get. Like, there's no way. Yeah. Because a lot of Goose's projects are primarily for people in their 20s with a broken sense of humor. And that's me. That's me. I can confidently say that that's me. So like I am the intended audience, but I'm surrounded by children. And I just like I see some of their takes and I'm like, did we even watch the same show? Because like as much as I love people making fun of Jax, especially peeled Jax, who literally looks like this, it's it's kind of unfortunate being around kids who like defend his actions or, you know, just ruin Jax as a character for me because he's so much more than like what fans make him out to be, if that makes sense. Like he's completely different than what fans make him out to be. Because like in Fanon, he's either like a hopeless romantic for Ragatha or for Pomni, or he's he's like too complicated and misunderstood and he just needs to be babied because he's just a little baby and not a 22-year-old man. I'm a 22-year-old man and I'm still responsible for my own actions. And I'm mentally ill myself. I know that it does not excuse any of the actions that he's done. I would never use it to excuse any of the actions that I've done, especially if they came to that level. The Peeled Jax fan art is very interesting. Here's something I don't know if this is going to be taken well, especially by YouTube, because it's like a mature topic. But the whole scene with Peeled Jax, there are some fans that interpret it as SA. I personally do not see it that way, but I can understand why fans who have that scene resonate with them would have it resonate with them, if that makes sense. It resonates with me. But I don't think it was intended to be that. Because if it was, then Gooseworks would have included that in her content warning. Like earlier on in the series, she said that there was a content warning for like guns, for references to suicide, for alcohol references, drug alcohol references, sex jokes, profanity. If SA was a theme that was included in the show, she would have included that in the warning. Absolutely 1,000,000%. She would not have excluded that. She would have gone out of her way to include it. Like that, something as serious as that, she would not just gloss over. I also agree. It definitely does come off as him being afraid of vulnerability. And also of I guess just of him being seen for who he is. Instead of just having, like, instead of just being taken at face value as the asshole that he makes himself out to be. Instead of, like, he doesn't want his secrets to spill out. He wants to keep them all inside. He wants to cover them up. He's afraid of not just being vulnerable, but of other people seeing through him to the point where he doesn't need to be vulnerable for his secrets to be exposed. That's another way that I can see it. Yeah, that is how I interpret it. I can see why, like, it resonates, but it is not. I don't see it as SA, especially considering they've made merch of that. If they made merch of something that was intended to be a depiction of that sort of violent crime, that is a huge issue. I don't think Glitch would ever follow through with something like that. That would be wildly irresponsible of them. Yeah, I don't see it that way. Like, yes, it is definitely a metaphor, but it is not. I don't see it as that kind of metaphor. But speaking of metaphors, the intermission sequence is a lot of foreshadowing. I feel like it's not talked about enough. Hold on. I kind of want to, like, break it down a little bit. Maybe I'll do that, actually. Okay.
I think they're enjoying.
Uh-oh. Okay.
I think they're enjoying the suggestion box adventures more than the me adventures. What should I do?
You should die. You should throw a beach party.
I love that line. You should die. You should throw a fucking beach party.
Why do you swear now? Ugh, forget it. Let's go to an intermission.
Intermission time.
Okay. So, obviously, like, just showing the characters doesn't really look like there's that much, except for the red, maybe. But that's honestly kind of like, that's a little bit of a stretch. Notice how there's blue in the background while Kane is right there. And then as he turns, the background turns red. Bubble did indeed just say fuck. Yeah. So just do a little frame by frame of that moment, because that was a huge thing that I noticed. See, here's Kane. There's blue in the background. He turns, and then it turns red. That was definitely not by mistake or coincidence. That was definitely on purpose. That's an interesting frame. That's gonna haunt me. Okay, we get a little bit of Jeffrey. Now we get Bubble. This is another huge thing. Bubble right here with blue in the background. What happens to Bubble when he's in the center of the screen? Kane eats him. Did you see that? Yeah. See? Kane is eating Bubble. Just chomp. Wonder what that could mean. Again with the blue background with Kane. So look at those shapes. These are exactly like the AI responses to the prompts and data and information that was being implemented into it. Does it not look like that? Not really sure what this one is supposed to mean. What it means is that Bubble, okay, I wrote this down in a Discord server because I was like really analyzing this shit and like wanted to share it with somebody. I definitely put my thoughts into words a lot better there. I wonder if I could like read it out. Okay. Yeah. Immediately after that, we get the shot of Bubble between Kane's eyes, which turns into dice. I think that symbolizes how Bubble eventually taking over and deleting Kane was a roll of the dice for his own fate, in which he would either be freed or deleted alongside him. And since he's in the middle, he's trapped. And that's why he got deleted with Kane when he was trying to delete Kane. He was trying to free himself, but he's trapped. And he was rolling the dice for his own fate. And here we are again with the blue background. Look at this. Jax, notice how Jax is falling into the blue, and he looks like he lost his footing, while the other ones are just sort of like floating into it. I think that's because Jax had to get his view shaken up a little bit to get to where we are now with the events of episode 8. You could see that he had like a full-on panic attack over the whole thing, over like, oh my God, this whole thing is real. It caused him to like lose his footing, lose his entire perception of the circus to get to where we are now with him sort of being on Team Blue, while Gangle and Zooble were already on board. See, they're just sort of gliding along. They're not reaching. They're not reaching out for anything. And notice how all of Kane's eyes right here are blue. Every single one of them. All of them are blue. Not a single one of them represents his other green eye. Did anyone else catch on to that? Okay, here's where it gets interesting. What a frame. Oh my God. Okay, so Pomni and Jax get hit by bowling balls. Gangle and Ragatha get hit by cakes. Kinger throws the bowling ball away, but then gets hit by a rook. What could this possibly mean? I think that this is a reference to Cain using their weaknesses, their fears, their traumas, and using them against the humans. Now notice how Kinger throws the bowling ball and then gets hit by a rook. So here's the thing with what that means, or at least how I view it. Okay, my microphone's a little weird. Okay. Pomni and Jax get hit by bowling balls. Gangle and Ragatha get hit by cakes. So I think the bowling balls symbolize trauma that happened in the circus, while the cakes symbolize trauma that happened before the circus. Because Ragatha's trauma was a reference to her mother. That happened before the circus. Gangle's trauma is sort of implied to be an attempt, considering like she got hit by a truck. I don't think that was necessarily a reference to episode 4, but if it is, I think that she conjured that truck on accident. I think that was a result of her falling apart, and she accidentally conjured that truck. It wasn't supposed to be there. Just like the exit wasn't supposed to be there, but Pomni conjured it. So I think that her trauma was an attempt in which she tried to get hit by a truck. And Jax's trauma we see with Pomni, Kaufmo, and Ribbit. Nothing relating to anything outside of the circus. Pomni's trauma, Gummy Goo. Again, inside the circus. Kinger's trauma, his wife abstracting, losing her, losing everyone that he cared about, everyone that he ever knew, being completely alone for years prior to Ragatha joining the circus. But Cain couldn't use that against him because he was using his computer. And what does the rook symbolize? Bubble. Bubble overriding Kinger, trying to like reprogram Cain without deleting him. Bubble instead deleting Cain. I think that's what the rook symbolized. That's what the bowling ball symbolized. That's what the cake symbolizes. Music is such a banger. Animation is eye candy. Anyway. This one I'm not so sure about. Bubble eating Pomni, but then Cain stopping him. I'm still not sure what that one's supposed to mean. Did I analyze that one? No, doesn't look like I did. Unless... Wait. Yeah, it doesn't look like I did. Okay. Bubble stops him, and then we have the characters holding hands while Cain is looking at them and holding them up. Remember how in episode 7 they were all holding hands except for Jax? Could be a reference to that. But also, if that is the case, look at how Cain is holding them up while there's a blue background. Wait a minute. White background, like the white in episode 7 when he was still able to remember Scratch. Huh. Maybe. But yeah, we see this blue in the background. We see Cain holding them up. They're all holding hands. Interesting. Then Bubble eats them, and we get red again. Interesting. Wonder what that could possibly mean. Yeah. Anyway, so should probably explain what I think it means. I think it means that Bubble is getting his revenge on Cain and hurting everyone in the process. Hands. Wait a minute. These could be Cain's hands or Kinger's if you think about it, right? Huh. Wait. This one right here in particular is really interesting. Okay. Actually, here's what I thought when I was looking back at this. I thought what it meant was that it's a reference to when Cain becomes like biblically accurate in episode 8. I thought it was like a reference to him becoming full on biblically accurate in episode 8 and getting a bunch of hands that just sprout out of nowhere. And that's what this is a reference to. That's what it's foreshadowing. But it could also be Cain versus Kinger. Huh. This biblically accurate Cain. And then we still get blue swirls in the background. And then we go inside of Cain's hat, which is Bubbles' home. And then we get the 3 youngest characters making poses in a white room. Which they're slaying, by the way. Absolutely serving. I think what it references is that they had the most influence over the events of episode 7. Zubul was the one that was saying, don't we all want to press this? Jax was the one that ended up pressing the button in the end. And Pomni was the one who was ultimately like wanting to like sort through everything, go through everything before making a decision. And what do these NPCs mean? It could just be a visual that doesn't mean anything, but it could also be a reference to Abel. It could be a reference to Disappearing Guy. It could be a reference to Ming, which Disappearing Guy and Ming are also both foreshadowing. Disappearing Guy, Okay, actually, we'll start with Ming. Ming is a blue NPC that humbled Cain in episode 6. Blue humbled Cain. Important bit there. And Disappearing Guy is a red NPC that ended up foreshadowing Cain's own fate. So, like, even the gag NPCs had their own foreshadowing purposes. Okay, we get Cain snapping his fingers, Jax running. Wait. I wonder why there's like that picture of like an ocean-like image. Wonder what that could mean. It is blue. That's interesting. Ribbit and abstraction. I think so. Not only is this like a reference to Jax losing Ribbit and like being an indicator that like Ribbit was really important to him and that she abstracted. I think it's also foreshadowing to Jax almost abstracting after touching fingers with Ribbit in episode 7. Having that little near abstraction sequence.
Cain, what are we doing right now?
We're intermissioning!
Yeah. Anyway, of the Digital Circus intermission. And like I know that nobody's seeing this, but maybe somebody will watch back on this once I'm done with it. Once I'm done with this live stream. Which honestly I might be. I do need to go take care of my laundry. Might come back later. I don't know. Hope you all enjoyed this. See you later.